Hello, Mr. Hansen. I'm very sorry this presentation is late, for I am in line for a Disney World ride. I have not really had too much time, but I'm in line for Tron right now, and I'm going to give you my presentation on jackfruits. Jackfruits, also known as Artocorpus heterophyllus, are a nice and juicy fruit. So they're part of the Moraceae family, and some common characteristics of the Moraceae family. They produce milky latex substance when the tissue is damaged, and they also reside within all these fruits, and I'll touch up on that later. They thrive in tropical and subtropical regions, definitely around Asia, a little bit of Africa, Australia, and we'll touch up on that later as well. Very large, nutrient-rich, and oddly shaped. So this jackfruit, it looks like no other. Some other plants in the Moraceae family, we have the fig and the mulberry, which look like a blackberry and a pomegranate. Oddly shaped. So their native habitats and growing conditions, Southeast Asia, tropical south, subtropical regions, so the Caribbean, Central and East Africa, and then again, that Northern Australia, Indonesia, all those nice and humid places. They really need that humidity. They need those consistent warm temperatures and that full direct sunlight so these trees can grow. So the consumption of these plants, these fruits, we have the core, and you can see on this photo here, the core comes from that stem. It's that big white bulbish looking area of the fruit, and these are hard. These are not really easy to work with, pretty fibrous, but you can eat them, and people do eat them. Only when they're cooked, though. You can't go and eat this raw, and I don't know why people do eat these. There's so many other parts of the plant. Then we have the rags. These kind of reside outside of the core, latex-like filaments. They're stringy, they're fibrous. People eat these as like snacks, I think. But more commonly, people do eat the arils, the bulbs. These are the most common parts that people eat. So these are the sweet, fleshy bulbs that surround the seeds, and these are very nice. I have yet to try these. I certainly do want to try these. That is the most commonly consumed part of the plant. Then we have the latex, like I talked about, which is very common within the Moraceae family. It lies outside of the core here, and people have said that, once you get your hands on this sticky latex, that it really doesn't come off, and so very not commonly consumed. I believe you can consume this part, though, but, to each his own. Then we have the seeds, and the seeds are within the arils, and these are edible when cooked. I bet those are pretty good. So now we have the growing and propagation of the jackfruit trees. So the seeds, as we learned, are attained within the fruit, within those arils. And the soil and planting. You need to plant the seed, like 1 inch deep in some well-draining soil. Germination, 3 to 8 weeks. Again, those warm tropical conditions. And once the tree, gets some decent height, not terribly big, it's ready to be transferred into its permanent location. You can graft these trees, so fusion of the rootstock and the scion, throw them together with some graft tape and bands and all that good stuff. I think people most commonly graft these trees. So our varieties of jackfruit, we have the black gold, firm flesh, sweet, vibrant yellow, and I believe these are the most commonly consumed. The cochins here, I had not known of these before. Soft flesh, less sweet, vibrant red, and these look quite a bit smaller than these other ones. We have the china here, soft and firm flesh, sweet and chewy, easy to separate flesh, and I believe that the china and the black gold are the most common. The china looks like just an unripe version of the black gold ones here. I'm not so sure how much they differentiate. I couldn't find too much about that online. The diseases that these plants face and the problems that they face include rhizopus rot. It's rot. It's an infection that causes the soft, watery brown spot on the fruit that later will turn black, and you certainly don't want that. So again, you want that good draining soil. You don't want that stuff to build up. Powdery mildew, another infection, and this one appears as white powder on the leaves, and it'll cause your leaves to all drop prematurely and all that. And we don't want to do all of that. Certainly not. So prune your affected parts, maximize airflow, and you can use fungicides on these. So then we have the leaf spots, which include the diseases in which I have listed here. Again, just remove the affected leaves, use fungicides, and get that well-draining soil to prevent all of this from happening. Again, we want to enjoy our jackfruits. Now here's some fun facts about the jackfruit. They are the largest fruit grown on a tree, and some may consider the largest fruit anywhere. Jackfruit trees will produce 150 to 200 fruits a year. That is a lot of jackfruit. And considering their size, holy Lord. Jackfruit is the national fruit of Bangladesh. Again, touch up on those tropical areas. Here's my sources. Thank you, Mr. Hansen. I hope you accept this. And I will see you next Monday.